Let's look at 4 different scenarios. Tell me, can you identify why each of these scenarios violates some aspect of international business culture? Number 1, talking about business immediately during your first business luncheon with a potential new customer. 2, putting your new colleague's business card in your back pocket. 3, giving the thumbs up during a negotiation in Brazil. And 4, calling your new Chinese boss by his first name. So what are the answers? 1, in most cultures, it is vital to cultivate a meaningful relationship with your new prospect before they will even consider conducting business with you. 2, in certain cultures, the business card is like the soul of its owner. So you would never disrespect a colleague by writing on their business card or even thinking about placing it in your back pocket. 3, gestures don't carry universal meanings. What is considered appropriate in one culture may be considered rude or even obscene in another culture. So be sure to do your homework in advance. And 4, cultures vary in degrees of formality and informality. Here in the U.S., we're fairly informal. In fact, we're on a first-name basis early on in relationships. We even refer to our CEO and the president of our organization by their first name, right? Well, in most of the world, last names or surnames and formal titles are the only appropriate method of addressing others. Learning the rules of business protocol in your host culture can help you minimize offensive behavior, avoid damaging relationships, and can enhance your potential for success in international business dealings. So why is this so complicated, this culture thing? Well, culture is like an iceberg. And how is that? Well, I'd like for you to think about that legendary ship, the Titanic, that sank because it crashed into an iceberg. The Titanic got into trouble not because the captain saw the iceberg. The captain got into trouble because of what he did not see. And what he did not see was hidden below the surface of the water. Culture is like an iceberg because it has 2 major components. There's that small, visible portion, and then there's that vast section hidden below the water. So let's look at these 2 components a little more. First, we have surface culture. It's visible, and it contains all of the tangible and visible aspects of culture that we would encounter if we were to travel to a different culture, or if perhaps we were to be invited to the home of someone from a different culture who lives right in our own city. And what would we encounter? Well, they may greet us differently when we arrive. They may serve food or beverages that are unfamiliar to us. We may hear different music. They may speak a different language. They may even dress differently. Those are all tangible, visible aspects of culture, and aspects that we commonly think of when we think about learning another country's culture. Now let's look at that more complicated aspect of culture, the deep culture, which is hidden below the surface. It's far more complex than surface culture because it's filled with elements that are intangible and that are unfamiliar. These hidden elements are often unspoken, unwritten, unconscious, yet they're implicit to the culture. What are some invisible aspects of culture? Well, negotiation rules, rules about how we use our personal space, rules about how to conduct an effective meeting. How do we use eye contact effectively? What about gift giving? Who do we give a gift to? What's an appropriate gift, and when do we present it? How much should we spend on that gift? What about time and punctuality? Should I arrive at a 9 o'clock meeting at 10 to 9, 9 o'clock, or sometime between 9:30 and 10? What about humor, face saving, and of course cultural taboos? We need to learn what's appropriate and what's inappropriate, such as what topics of conversation should we avoid? As a tourist, you could visit another culture many times and never learn about these aspects of the culture if you're interpreting through your own cultural lens. Most misunderstandings and conflict arises because of a lack of understanding of what is invisible, what we're not aware of because we can't see it. I can help you learn how to successfully navigate cultures that are new to you. To learn more about this topic and others, please contact me, Karla Scott, at globalwaysusa.com.